October 18th, 2010. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, show 99.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go.
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
$66 upside down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which means it's like a third more evil, possibly.
Or whatever this is, anyway. It's a third more of whatever this is.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It's 99% pure.
Yes.
Like ivory soap.
Well, yes.
It's a soap that angels use.
So this is the episode where we run around in some sort of Muso type game.
Yes.
And kill things again.
That would be all of them.
Oh, yeah.
So welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and with me is
Hear him roar.
and with me is Brian and Steve. John would be here, but he is currently taking care of some stock options, some derivatives.
He's basically extinguishing our economic system as we know it.
He is.
It's an important job.
He's defaulting on everything.
Yes.
Taking advantage of the foreclosure freeze.
Yes. He's going out and foreclosing on the Western Hemisphere.
So,
We need to refinance Canada. Is that possible?
can we refinance Best Korea?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
There's a million Amero idea.
I'm fairly certain that Best Korea would have a hard time getting a home finance loan.
Or
collateral is not so
an
great.
economy.
Yeah.
What
collateral would you put down on this particular loan?
Slave
Peasants.
labor. Yeah.
Well, that's potentially valuable, Mr. Moon.
Yeah. So let's start with our first bit of news.
Mr. Kim
Yes.
Moon, Sung Young Moon.
You know, if you went to Korea
Sung
and
Young
asked for Kim, I wonder how many people would actually read.
Yo, it'd be like one of those.
So Sega announces Shenmue City, which is awesome if you want to drive forklifts everywhere and collect toys.
Didn't this announcement also have the Persona social network thing?
Yeah.
Social game on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure how that works.
Oh, speaking of social things, I got an email from Assassin's Creed about a Facebook game you're supposed to be able to play. And it somehow builds up items or things that will connect directly to your game.
Does it
For Brotherhood, it's like a...
does it link up with like your Xbox Live?
It must link up somehow.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I just remember seeing it, and I haven't had a chance to do it.
I wonder if it uses that weird, what is that U point or whatever that Ubisoft
Oh yeah,
thing
it's the
does.
Ubisoft. It might have a connection to that. Maybe it builds up points that way, and then it allows you to download stuff in the game, kind of like the Assassin's Creed 2 did.
Ah.
That's possible. I gotta look into that more because I'm kind of curious, and I want to know exactly what it is you do in the game that generates things.
Now you're picking up the new Assassin's Creed, which comes out when?
Oh man, I think it's the end of next month. It's like middle or end. I want to say like the 19th.
It's coming up like really quick. Are you picking up well, you haven't even picked up Assassin's Creed 2 yet, right?
No,
Steve?
I'm regressing back to my gamer under a rockdom. So
There's a Fable 2?
It's winter, and he's gonna hibernate again.
yeah, well, I should have waited for Fable 2 to, I could have gotten the free download of Fable 2.
Yeah, I read about that, but by the time I found out, it was already done.
Yeah, I saw it, and then that was about the same time I saw the promos for Fable 3.
Was that on the 360 or PC?
360.
I don't have a big enough hard drive to download it anyway, so
Yeah, true.
I need to get a new hard drive.
I would have downloaded it if, Peter Molyneux would have told me about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the costume options. It's like, well, you should have just gone and discovered it. It's like, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
well, what does the costume options do for me, Peter? Oh, nothing. That's why I didn't discover them.
Yeah.
Spent too much time being a blacksmith, hitting that stupid freaking mini game on being a blacksmith over and over.
By the
again.
way, this is a dumb question because I've never actually played Fable. Is that actually a good game?
It's not a bad
pretty.
game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's no Fallout 3. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I've watched it played, but never had an interest in it myself.
So there are no rad roaches in Fable.
You know, you get an urge to grind a lot
Eh.
in Fable 2, even though it's not strictly necessary. But you get this feeling that, like, if I just grinded a little bit longer, I could buy that house too. You know,
It's like a poker thing. It's like
Yeah.
an addiction.
yeah, it's like variable reinforcement. Except the variable reinforcement is brought by yourself. You know, it's not like a slot machine where you win every once in a while. You know when you're gonna win, but you do it anyway.
Ah.
So,
So next up, a new Panasonic gaming platform, the Jungle, which is a upcoming portable video game console developed and produced by Panasonic, with the design being roughly similar to that of a small laptop. It is developed as a portable platform for MMOs and aimed at players who want to play such games on the go.
They
And
just
this is better than
creating
a
netbook or what?
Yeah, and this is
what does
better
this
than a
run?
laptop. How it
what OS does it run?
We don't know. I've seen a screenshot of the actual hardware, but I don't know if it's some sort of weird proprietary OS that
Which
Panasonic
would be
is.
stupid because
So
you want
using
people to
e-
develop
the-
MMOs just for your little netbook thingy.
They're,
That's gonna happen.
yeah, they're using. I don't know.
Might as well just
Workbench.
develop for the
QNX.
iPhone.
They're
They're
using
using
QDOS, PC DOS.
Using OS2.
Yeah, you need to get QEMMM on this and make sure that your upper RAM is your high mem is .sys is loaded before you
I'm
load.
sorry, what the
your-
hell did you just say?
Yeah, the good old days of making sure
Those
you
those
had
were good old days.
618K of RAM to run your DOS games.
Make sure there are no IRQ conflicts before running it.
Yep. Yeah. Well, you have
Jeez.
to load high mem first because then you can put your joystick drivers can be load high, and then yeah,
Yeah, good times.
you got to have a boot disk for every single game. That
But
was
the bus
awesome.
speed roll.
So next up, X-Men arcade game coming to PSN Xblon. Yes, this is the 6-player X-Men game by
Hell,
Konami.
Yeah, I still regret the day I turned this guy down. He was selling me he was gonna sell the dual screen 6-player arcade game to me, but I couldn't get I would have had to physically take it completely apart to get into my house.
Oh yeah, that thing's a
Yeah, the
marvel.
thing
Oh,
that-
that was such a cool arcade
You
though.
had to physically take it apart to get into an arcade. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing was not small.
Well, they were built in 2 pieces, but yeah, it's ridiculous how large it was. Just put those screens in there. Jesus, those things were like 32-inch screens.
That was a deep game too, because it wasn't just wide. The cabinet was really deep too.
Well, yeah, it's because of that platform that came out for the 6 players to
Yeah.
rest their arms on while they were playing.
Yeah.
So basically, you can play with.
And counterweighting to the to the monitors that were in the back too.
So it's playable online with 4 of your closest friends, as no one will want to play Dazzler.
Yeah, she was kind of useless in that game. Huh?
She
I-
sparkled.
Yeah.
Should have been Bedazzler. Just went around like pimping jewels on all the enemies.
no one beats the Blob.
Yeah.
Now it's a pretty blob.
I can't get on. It's like I can't get on to play X-Men. Well, let's play NBA Jam instead.
You know that game came out. It got
Yeah.
released on the Wii, and it's coming out on the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Yeah, I know.
So
Huh.
if you want to play NBA Jam and you really
Yeah.
liked it,
I think I'll get X-Men instead.
I really enjoyed NBA Jam in the arcade 15 years ago.
But
Because it
fast
had that
forward-
great,
Well,
what you
everything-
call it? It had that great. Well, you can play it on MAME too, and all its 16-bit voice sampling glory.
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, and he's
He's
going
on
down.
fire.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
He's on fire.
Except it's all like craggly, and then because of
Yeah.
the compression on it. And
Well, what do you want? I mean,
the-
that's why the
it's
announcer
like the
in Mortal
quality is-
Kombat sounds like
the-
Dr. Claw.
the 4 kilobits sampling or kilohertz sampling rate.
You've heard better sound out of those like Hallmark cards that you open and they
Yeah,
sing to you.
Oh man. So next up we have text adventure games coming to the Kindle. So
God, they just make a gaming out of every platform out there.
So if you want to play Zork on your Kindle, you'll be set.
I gotta tell you, it's gonna drop. That's gonna go over like a rock.
Yeah, I'm
I
think
sure they're
I
looking forward
enjoyed
to
text-based
re-releasing all
stuff back
the
on my Palm, my black and white Palm. That geez, that was way back in the day.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Infocom games.
if they release games other than Zork, if they'd release, Leather Goddesses of Phobos or something.
That had graphics in it. You do know that, right?
Was it?
Yes.
I didn't think that was one of their storybook things.
Hardcore Gamer 101. I'll show you after the meeting. We're in a fucking meeting.
Yeah.
After the podcast, Hardcore Gaming 101 had a write up on it.
I thought that I thought that wasn't one of their visual storybook ones.
No, it
was?
had visuals in it.
Huh.
So along with Roger Wilco, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
that wasn't Infocom, so
Yeah, that was someone else.
okay, that was Sierra.
So-
Sierra Online.
So I'm sure this interests people who want to play Zork or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or
Or play
whatever.
the first 10 minutes of Beyond Zork.
Yeah. So, Fallout New Vegas DLC exclusive to the Xbox 360 for now. So, in no big surprise, Bethesda has announced DLC for this game.
Oh, this will be just like the last 10
Yeah.
exclusives, where it's good for 4 to 6 months, and then it comes out on all other platforms.
It won't work for the PS3 for like a year.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, when it does come out for the other platforms, it'll probably be bug free or less buggy. So
You
Meanwhile,
are
the-
very hopeful.
Meanwhile, the PC guys will be playing the mods versions of Fallout
Yeah,
until the DLCs come out.
exactly. But no one. I know the game comes out tomorrow, but no one here is going to buy it day one.
No.
We've learned our lesson.
Well,
Actually, I bought mine like way after everyone else. After everyone was telling me it was such a great game and I should experience Western RPGs and stop trying to be such a weeaboo. So
I bought it on PC. I think it was off it's either Steam or Direct to Drive, and I got it for, geez, it was like $4.99 or $9.99. It was really cheap.
Huh.
It was a steal.
I was an evil person. I bought it used from GameStop. So,
Uh-huh.
but then I bought all the DLC from Bethesda. So that makes up for it, right?
Whatever.
Oh. Whatever, you filthy thief. So,
Oh, no. I remember what it was. It was the Circuit City sale. When they were going out of business. They
Oh, yeah.
discounted a crap load of their stuff like
I
instantly.
had
All the
to
games
kick
were
myself
cheap.
because I was there when they were going out of business, and they still had PS3s in stock, and I should pick one up at that time because they were going
Well.
like 30% under.
Yeah,
under
but now
MSRP.
you get a better one later.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't. That one, systems are kind of a hit and miss thing because a year later the newest system's out, it's better, and by that point the hardware's cheaper anyways. So
Yeah. So next up, we have a fall Xbox 360 update, but I'm sure that'll interest people who want to play Kinect at some point. So,
I don't know. The update will probably come with the Kinect system or be downloaded immediately. So whatever.
Yeah, well, at least they're updating stuff. I mean, it's not like freaking PS3.
Well, I tell you, I
they
went to
update stuff. It just takes an hour for the update to download.
God.
we were at the Best Buy down in Cherry Creek, not Cherry Creek, down in Park Meadows, trying to get the friggin' Move demo to work, and for the life of us couldn't get it to work.
Didn't work out for you too well.
Wasn't a great example of marketing for
You
Sony.
you needed to have that guy in the commercial show you how it's done.
It does have a fairly smushy rubber ball though.
Smushy.
If you actually throw it at the TV, you may actually not break your TV if you throw it at the TV.
I wonder if that was done
Unless of course
intentionally.
it topples over from the ball side and the bottom of
Yeah.
the controller
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
cracks.
It's got some rotation going on out there. You put some English on it, you might be out of luck.
You just need to completely rubberize both ends of the remote to guarantee
It's just a big rubber
safety.
remote. Just looks like a big sex toy with the buttons on it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's made of
People are
silicone.
throwing dog bones
Don't-
at their.
Do not use this. Do not use this. this Move controller with silicone lubricant.
Or in any
This,
open
this
orifice.
controller's
Yeah.
for
Or
external use
petroleum jelly.
only.
Yeah.
So no Crisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, considering the cost of the move and everything, you might need the Crisco, but hey.
I wasn't gonna. I really wanted to try this out just for that Kung Fu Rider game, but I just can't justify.
What about no, that Rez game, Child of Eden? Isn't that on the I thought, is that the 360 or is that the Kinect or is that the Move?
Eden is a game that's, I think it's a downloadable game on PS3. I don't know about Child of Eden though.
Well, Child of Eden is like the sequel to Rez.
Oh, that's the one coming out.
Yeah, I think that's a Kinect game.
I think it's Kinect. Yeah, I don't think it's
Oh.
PS3.
All right. So next
I don't
up, NIS announces Prinny 2 Dawn of Operation Panties. Dude, I don't know why I wanted to read that sentence. But you like hard platform games? There you go.
I got a lot of that in high school. Thanks.
Wait, what?
I don't
You
know
know,
what we're
old
talking.
school
Are we still talking about
Platform
games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we still talking about games?
Okay, it's a offshoot of the Disgaea series where Prinny, the little penguin dudes that, when you throw them they explode. They came out with a
So you're a
platform game last year,
suicide
so this is the sequel
foul
to that
bomber.
platform game. The really incredibly hard platform
So
game.
do you blow up a lot in this game?
Well, if you suck,
Throw
at what
yourself?
well,
You just pull a cord and run into something. And
yes.
You're like
Are you
what's
a portable
his name?
IID or IDE?
You're like the fat dude
IED.
in Once Upon a Time in China. All his kung fu styles, he just throws himself at people.
Well, that's an effective fighting technique,
It
isn't
wasn't
it?
really, no.
Oh,
It's like a
not
Chinese
not
blob.
well,
Yes.
nothing moves the blob. So, Castlevania Lords of Shadow sequel confirmed.
Woo!
Did you pick up?
Oh hell yeah!
Have
I've
you
almost
played
beat
it?
it. Yeah,
Really?
It's actually a lot of fun.
So,
All the opinions on this game are all over the place.
yeah, they are.
Well, it's picky. If you've played something like God of War, where it's super refined and it's really pretty, that's awesome. But for the first try with this and a new engine, I think they did pretty good overall. I've got little gripes about it that are just they're little move things that I think they could have finished or could have done a little more polishing with. But overall, I think the game's a lot of fun and it's been a fun ride. And there's a lot of replay value in it too.
I was thinking of picking it up, but I'm like, might want to wait till it's 39 because I heard it's kind of like Castlevania and it's kind of
It's like a mixture of Castlevania and God of War. I'm sorry, it's a mixture of God of War and God Hand. And there's a third one out there too. It's like a puzzle game comparison I'm thinking of. But it's a good mixture of the three. I mean, it's really worth picking up.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I'm sure Josh probably picked it
It's
up.
definitely a $39.99 title, I guarantee you.
Oh.
If you're going to wait till that price point, that's probably a good price point for it. I paid for the $59, but I also pre-ordered it and got I actually played the $79 because I pre-ordered and got it comes with a soundtrack for the game and then yeah, that's one of my gripes actually is the art book that comes with it is actually built into the case.
Oh, yeah, I
It
see what you're
doesn't
saying
slide
there.
out.
Oh,
It's like they just wanted to save on paying for another book cover piece, and it was easier to glue the book into the game cover.
Yeah, it was
Wait,
it was
what?
some sort of case design like genius
Yeah.
that's like, we can make this really cool case, and you're like, did you consider how practical it is?
Yeah, and
Nope.
this is a big game. It's 2 discs,
what?
which is pretty weird. So I don't know if that's a programming thing or if it's just because the game is huge. But the game really is big. The graphics are just amazing. I mean, they're just huge graphics, I should say.
Yeah.
You're playing on a grand scale, and you can see stuff way in the distance with it. I mean, so it's possible they needed all that memory or they needed that extra disc for the second half of the game. But it's a huge game. Don't get me wrong.
Is Lord Kojima confirmed for the sequel?
Haven't
I
said.
don't know what they say. They just
Yeah.
said they're gonna make another one.
They have to wait
as
till
if another Castlevania
Well,
game was a
they
wasn't a
have to wait
foregone
till a
conclusion.
time in Castlevania history when cardboard boxes are finally invented.
Oh yeah. So Simon can hide in a cardboard box.
Yes.
There's a lot of cool things about this game. They took a lot of neat ideas and put them together. You have light power and shadow power that you can turn on and off. They boost moves. They increase healing. They do lots of cool things.
I'll need to check it out. I'm still kind of
Yeah.
like, I'm on.
I'll
Is-
show
is-
you it. It's actually a lot of fun.
Is Otakon in this game?
Yes.
No.
Yes, and you get your infinite ammo
Yeah, headband.
headband for Castlevania.
Yeah.
Are there candles to whip? Is there that?
Yeah, is there candle whipping in this game?
Well, you destroy things that are on the ground around you or in
But
Ma-
but no candles.
mausoleums or things. And yeah, some of them are candles, and you
Oh.
get
Okay.
if you're low on items like knives or fairies or purple crystals or holy water. Yeah, they replenish those as you destroy things. So
Okay.
it's cool that way.
So next up, Atari reviving Star Raiders for PC, Xbox 360, and PS3.
You mean the people who currently own the trademark for Atari reviving all these things?
Yeah, that works too. So yeah, Star Raiders,
Yeah.
which is awesome for a
um,
game that's 900 years old.
Yeah, it's like soon they'll come out with a 3DS version of Yar's Revenge.
I could see that.
Yeah. It'll give people epileptic seizures from the
Hey,
crazy,
3DS.
The
I wouldn't mind a
crazy wall.
3DS version of Mega Mania. I mean, come on.
I got a feeling we're gonna see a slew of old Atari titles make a comeback and pop up either like HD
Yeah,
360 games or
At-
something.
Atari's going to come out with a Xbox 360 version of Combat, and then they're going to get sued by EA because it's like, well, we already have this game. It's called Medal of Honor.
Nah.
No, Combat was in tanks.
No, there were
No,
planes.
Combat was
Well, they had
they're
planes
playing-
too, but yeah, it was. I remember most of Combat was just going around
Yeah.
in 2D in a tank and blowing up other
Yeah.
tanks. It was a lot like Battlezone for that matter.
Yeah.
I think you could have airplanes and Sopwith camels and
They
some-
were all just big ass pixels. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. This is a plane, trust us.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
All right. So next up, Gran Turismo 5 delayed again.
Yeah,
And-
did you read why this is? Apparently they
Did they release a reason for it? Because
Yes,
they were
they
just saying
did.
originally
yeah,
that
they did. They
Yes.
apparently there was they had it all ready. It had gone gold, and then Sony, when they put up the update that locks out that little USB hack thing, they required that all games published that would be released after a certain date had to use the newer SDK. And Gran Turismo used the old SDK and was going to be released
Jeez.
after that game. So they had to pull it, and since they could have updated it really fast because all you have to do is put it back in. But then since they had to pull it and delay it, they lost their slot with the manufacturer, the Blu-ray manufacturer for the factory, their factory slot. They had to give it up.
Yeah.
So then they had to reschedule that. And so and after that something else will happen. So sometime in the next
stupid thing to-
century that game will be out.
I just don't get it with the computers we're using, with the processing power and that thing. It's so hard to do something like fix an SDK kit. I don't understand that. It's such a stupid thing to have to fix.
It's Sony.
Yeah. But in the meantime, in the same vein, during the time that Gran Turismo 5 will be delayed, we'll have another 4 Forzas come out.
Yeah, probably. There'll be 4 Forzas that come out
They
in
put
November.
a Forza out every year, don't they?
It seems like it.
It's like the Madden of race car games.
There's going to be 4 of them that come out in November before Gran Turismo comes out.
You're going to see another Road Rash before you see this game.
I would
Yeah, see,
fucking love a Road Rash game.
Yeah, I know you would.
I'd give my left nut for an HD
Hey,
360
hello.
Road Rash game.
You're
Well,
gonna
if you play the game, you give your left nut anyways.
If you're gonna they're gonna re-release an HD version of Twisted Metal 2 before this comes out.
It's going to be loaded.
I love that fucking game.
Twisted Metal was cool, but I think Vigilante 8 was better. I
don't
really
think
liked
so, man.
Vigilante 8. It's
Isn't-
like it took
is-
everything that Twisted Metal did and refined it a little bit better.
Isn't there going to be a new Twisted Metal for the PS3?
Yeah, they showed it at E3.
I don't know, man. Nothing after it was like Burnout 3. For me, Twisted Metal 2 was like the pinnacle of that series.
And which
'Cause it
character
was-
did you play in Twisted
Oh,
Metal?
dude, this was so long ago.
You like the clown
I
car, or
don't remember.
the
clown car held
van.
the clown car. That ice cream truck.
Yeah.
That fucking thing handled like ass. But it was great. But the second one was great because they, in the first one you played, and the cars were huge. They took up most of the screen, so they shrunk them down for the second one, and it was just the right size. And then after that, they kind of started doing all this weird stuff I didn't give a rat's ass about. That's the same thing
Well,
as
it's
Burnout
like
3.
most games. The first one's the beta test. The second one refines it and gets it just right. And then after that, they start adding
And then they have to
nonsensical
make-
shit that you just don't need in the game.
We have to make 3. We have to make another one. Put something new in. It's just like Burnout,
Yeah.
The next Burnout
Well,
after
Burnout 3
3
was the exception. It was
Well, Burnout 3 was definitely the pinnacle of that series.
Yeah.
And then after that, open world. I'm like, fuck, I don't play this game for open world.
yeah.
I play this game
We
for
want to get from point A to point
Yeah.
B, and that's it.
I want the races. And
we want to wreck, and we want to
it's like
wacky
midnight
achievements.
racing. Yeah, exactly. That midnight race. It was like a prettier midnight racing club, and I didn't like that game either.
Yeah.
Hey, you could always get a copy of Blur. Should be $19.99 by now.
I heard it was a pretty decent game, but
I still haven't played that. I meant to get in the beta test of that, and I missed out on that too.
So next up, Babysitter Mama. So from the makers of Cooking Mama, Babysitting Mama includes a plush baby doll that you tuck the Wii remote into, turning the doll itself into your controller from the game, and that is an actual description
Wow.
from the NCS website.
That's
Wait
really
till they use a PlayStation Move and you have to insert it in the butt, and that
Yeah.
little ball just glows out the ass. It's
it's like the glowworm.
It- so
baby's got hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not quite sure.
Baby swallowed one of the aliens from Cocoon.
So I'm sure this will be real interesting for the people that want to
Somebody.
take care of a child through a
Uh,
video game.
For the PS.
Well,
or
it beats
for the
having to
Wii.
bring your egg home and take care of it for a week.
That's bizarre. Well, they got to find new ways to have people buy stuff for the Wii. You see that thing? You don't have it on here, but there's a thing. Because what is that? Who are those guys that do the console sales figures, and they're not putting them
What,
out anymore?
NPD?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kotaku used to keep track of that.
Yeah, well, they're not putting the numbers on there anymore.
No, they're
Like
not
the-
releasing numbers publicly for free anymore.
Oh.
You can pay for them, but the
Was
the
this like
numbers they
credit?
compile. Well, the numbers they compile that the different companies can actually release on their own. And this last month, nobody wanted to release their numbers except for Microsoft, and because Microsoft did like 27% better year over year last month.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody
funny.
else not doing so well apparently because they're not bragging about their numbers. So yeah.
So
So once again, we learn that America is the anti-Japan.
it is.
yeah,
Actually,
but Japan gaming is dying, though. It's kind
Well,
of funny.
in terms of making new properties that aren't the same properties that they've been for 20 years, that's certainly the true.
yeah, and speaking about same properties, Final Fantasy 14 has a lot of water garble associated.
Yeah, there's a lot of people bitching about Final Fantasy 14.
Well,
Not
Microsoft is just
happy.
ever so slowly but consistently they're making ground in Japan, and it's due to things like picking up all the shmup crowd, getting oddball titles on there, and getting deals too for stuff that used to just be exclusive to PS3.
Well, I mean, then they try to put out crap, new weird stuff. Sure, it
Yeah.
doesn't always sell the greatest, but it's not yet another JRPG.
Yeah.
And you can't go adult rate everything like they did with Gears of War when it came out over there.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, the Final Fantasy 14 water garble, I was reading it in Slashdot, which was probably the worst mistake I ever made.
Yeah, I don't even read Slashdot anymore. I have a 4-digit user ID on Slashdot, and I don't read it anymore.
You got to sell it.
Yeah, I know I should.
Someone would buy it.
Somebody would buy it. And what's really funny is when people with 5 digits go, they try to, well, I've been here longer than you have. And I go, really? I just reply with just really, and then other people that have 3-digit ones go up beneath me. It's like this long.
And then
nested
it's like a
comment of
it's like a
lower and
card
lower.
game, yeah.
Until Commander Taco
Yeah,
responds.
yeah, pretty much. He's got the first.
He's number one.
Well, he's way down there. I don't know if he's number one because there was a couple of user test IDs, and then between whatever numbers that are and 1,000, there's no numbers.
Huh.
There was no users in between those. There's maybe a couple admin ones, but no general users. And then the general
Weird.
users start after 1,000. So
Well, it's like
As-
at
as
8
far
or
as
9
I
digits
remember it.
now.
yeah, it's really high now, and I'm like, the water garble's really high on Slashdot about it. So
Yeah.
But there was that guy. There was a link to a guy who said that he rage quit Final Fantasy 14 and said he was going to sell all of his stock in Final Fantasy. And it was going to be like $26 million worth of stock. Like, yeah, Final Fantasy 14 character with $26 million worth of Square Enix stock. That's only listed on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. He's like, I totally sold it all. You can see the stock price went down 1%. People can actually look at the daily trade volume and figure out how much. It's like, yeah, it wasn't quite enough to make it, possible. But
thanks for playing.
I'm glad that you wanted to express your dislike of the game so vociferously. Can you go away now?
Well, he really should have summoned a creature before he sold all that stock.
Well, he needed to buff before he did that sale, so he could get an extra 10% on the stock price.
Oh yeah, he didn't cast a phoenix down before selling that stock. So.
Well, he needed to have somebody buff him and then rebuff him every time he did a sale, because otherwise the timer runs out on the buff. Just didn't. He obviously wasn't an experienced player.
Well, the actual buff animation is on a completely different server somewhere else.
He didn't know the stock. He didn't properly practice his stock selling chain, and so he didn't properly chain all those different transactions together. So that's why it didn't really work out for him.
Okay, that's enough of this.
He got portfolio wiped.
Started it.
Oh,
Total wipe on my portfolio. Damn it.
So for more fiscal humor at the expense
fiscal
of
MMO humor.
I've bought stock in game companies, and it's like a 99 to 1 shot that you're gonna make money on.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, but I mean, back when they first started coming out, like Rockstar put out stock, and a few other companies, Atari tried to get on the market with that, and you just never. I mean, it's a really, really long-term shot that you're going to make any money, and there's no guarantee.
Well, they're
more often than not just going to sit there and not really gain much.
Well, they're trading stocks. I mean, people get them to get rid of them.
There's never
in a day.
enough trading to do anything with it.
So,
and it's just that price. It'll grow ever so slowly, but it'll never grow enough to justify what you put in and what you could have been making off of something else.
Yeah, they're all just for day traders. So.
Diehard Gamer Radio would also like to remind our audience that we are not professional stock brokers.
We have not passed any of our CFA exams.
Some of us have lost
past
money
performance
in it.
is not indicative of future results.
Meaning this podcast.
Yes. So next up, Connect lets you sit down now and play, and it also comes with 17 games. So
I'm hearing the downside of this from a lot of sites that the problem is it doesn't read correctly unless you're at least 8 feet away from.
Yeah, I sent you that article. It's like
that was just like one of like 5 I've read.
See,
that's killing a lot of people that are interested because they just don't have that much room to use.
I don't buy that though, because all the people that were looking at E3 were not 8 feet away from that Connect. All the videos they had of like the.
Well, how many games were they trying though?
Well, and what games were they trying?
That's what
because
I'm saying.
People sitting down are not really getting the idea of the potential of this game. I don't want to play Gears of War 2 on this game. I'm going to be standing my ass up and doing something.
Yeah.
So I don't.
And it shouldn't be designed for a game like that. It should be designed for things like
I don't know.
the Michael Jackson dancing game.
I'm totally not paying attention to any of the press on the Connect until
it's
it comes
still one of those
out,
things I got to go out somewhere and try it before I buy because I just don't.
Well, isn't there a Microsoft store like at Park Meadows?
Oh yeah, they did open one out here.
I don't know if they have a demo or not.
Oh, I'm sure they've got to. I would think so.
That would be the place to go for a demo. Either that or like a Best Buy or even a GameStop's going to have certain GameStops. I'm sure will have them.
Well, the Best Buys will probably have them. The dueling stand-up demo systems just on the other side.
And it'll have the whole setup with their TV and box thing that they recommend you to buy. And
it'll be on the other side of the stand-up thing from the Move. You have one side, and the other side will be the Connect.
It'll just be a guy behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ignore Steve Ballmer behind the curtain.
Yeah. I don't know. I might buy the Move. Chair flies across the floor. And
Major Nelson's there, like pulling strings.
Yeah.
So,
banning gamers.
Speaking of,
was this about the guy that got the $500,000 gamer score?
Lead into your next title.
Oh, okay.
Pay attention.
Blizzard suing StarCraft 2 hackers. So Blizzard suspended or banned roughly 5,000 players of the real-time strategy game for using hacks to gain an advantage in the game. Days later, the company went after some of the people responsible for the cheat programs, and of course, it's a violation of the
And they got
EULA.
they got some weird reasoning in that lawsuit. Like, well, because the code was copied into memory and they modified the code, it's a violation of copyright. I'm like,
Wait, isn't all code copied into memory?
yeah, kind of. So,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
kinda like,
but it was our code.
yeah.
Wasn't your
Plus, they're
code.
suing people in like Peru and stuff
It's a
like.
guy in Peru and I think 2 Canadians.
Yeah, it's like, don't you guys have something better to do before Christmas? I mean, seriously, is it slow at the Blizzard legal department, or what's the deal?
Hey, World of StarCraft, get cracking on that.
Yeah,
I think they're just trying to set a precedent.
yeah,
Make-
but they're
make a statement.
but the precedent they could be making is if you run our game, you can't mod it because, well, you modified code in RAM that we didn't want you to modify.
Wait,
equals.
now wasn't Blizzard
It's
back
just
in the
bad.
day like cool with mods, or were
Yeah,
they
they used
always
to be.
this? Well,
Now
yeah.
they make it difficult.
Well, ever since they got bought out by Activision.
Well, you have to you can't your map packs have to be uploaded just to their server in order to share them with anybody. It's ridiculous.
Very policed.
It's not that great.
So, well, it was nice knowing Blizzard when they were cool.
We still have
But
Fallout and
Blizzard when they're
Oblivion.
cool.
and-
That's true. There is a very
love-
healthy
yeah.
mod community, and the computer that you sold me should be able to run Fallout. I would
Fallout
imagine.
3. Probably with that video card upgrade I put in it.
Well, or I could just play to my Xbox 360.
You could. Can't run any mods though,
Why?
because
Oh,
you,
and
you
yeah,
can't
fuck
mod
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
360. You get a more pure gaming experience on the 360.
Right.
Yeah, that's what that was actually. That was on the Penny Arcade forums.
I
Someone
see-
said that.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So next up, we have Care or Don't Care, our centennial feature that we do every
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
I'm trying to come up with new ones. I'm running out here.
Mm-hmm.
So Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
I don't. Yeah.
Couldn't care less.
I don't know.
I haven't played a Spider-Man since.
Bionic Commando.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's actually kind of sad.
God, I haven't played a Spider-Man in a long time. I own one, but I think it's back on the Wii from,
Hey.
or not the Wii, the
GameCube.
GameCube. Yeah, that was the last Spider-Man I bought. That was
Are
the
you-
first one that came out too. Come to think of it.
Huh. Yeah, I think the last Spider-Man. I don't know if I've actually ever played a Spider-Man.
I think I played one on the Commodore 64.
I think the closest I got to Spider-Man was playing Revenge of Shinobi, and Spider-Man shows up as a boss character.
Huh.
I played. Oh man, what was that one on the 32X? It was the.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What, Maximum Carnage?
Yeah, there was Maximum Carnage. I thought there was another one on there though. It's the really rare one. It's like one of the rarest 32X games out there.
I'd have to search the data bank for that.
I remember
I don't
playing
even
it at
remember
somebody's
that
house,
one.
and it was a cool game.
Huh. Cool games on the 32X.
Might have been Maximum
Really?
Carnage. I can't remember now.
There's only one cool game on there. Colibri.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bird.
The finest hummingbird based shooter
Arguably.
ever made.
Oh,
Yeah.
Arguably.
Star Wars is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Arguably the best hummingbird-based shooter on a 32X.
Well, the second best bird based shooter ever.
Is Kid Icarus.
No. And it's not Joust. No, I was gonna say Agony by
Man, we
Psygnosis
were
for the Amiga.
Psygnosis, Jesus.
My sister and I were so good at Joust because for the longest time on the NES, it was the only game we had.
Yeah.
And so,
I can
That
see
will
how you
hone
would
your
be very good at
skills.
that.
Hey, you want
We
to
were-
play a game? Yeah, let's pop in Joust.
we were pretty damn good
Did
at
those
Joust.
skills
Came in
carry over
handy.
to Balloon Fight?
No, it did not. Then we did have what was the one with Bubble Bobble? We were pretty good at that game too.
Until you found out that when you got to the end, you had to do the whole thing over again.
Well, yes.
So, just like Ghosts and Goblins. So, next up, Star Wars The Old Republic. Does anyone care about this? Steve?
Kind of on the fence. I'm curious.
Man, there's a growing amount of war garble about this game too.
Ah,
But you get
there's
your
war
own,
garble on every
you
Star
get your
Wars
own
game,
free
though.
Wookiee if you're a
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well,
really the mercenary.
The main problem it seems to be that so far the complaints are that the gameplay for the various classes is pretty much indistinguishable from like WoW gameplay. So like
Oh.
you got people that are standing 3 feet away from each other with blasters, just shooting at each other, and sometimes they miss. Like,
So it's accurate?
only if you're a stormtrooper. Apparently, the space combat is on rails
Wait,
or
what?
something. I don't really know.
What,
but-
like Space Harrier?
I don't know, but that's what people are complaining about.
No.
You know, all
Okay.
sorts of strange things. The only thing that apparently the smugglers get some sort of cover system. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, who thought that this was going to be a great game and still think it's going to be a great game. And other people that are like, oh no. Part of the problem is that a lot of people are pointing out is that they're spending a crap ton of money on this game. And in order to make it palatable to the largest amount of people, they're going to have to make it generified like WoW. So,
Which means the hardcore fans aren't going to care for it.
well, it doesn't pay to be riskily innovative when you've laid out a ton of money.
True.
Yeah. You got to guarantee that return.
So, I don't know, we'll see. Apparently they have a crap ton of voice acting in it though. Like all the mission stuff is actually
Well,
voice
there's a lot
acted.
of possibilities and a lot of endings and
Well,
cha-
like,
or
most
things
things,
you
if you
could
play
do,
like
rather.
WoW or something, missions are not that when the guys talk to you in the missions, they're not spoken. They're text, right?
Yeah.
All of those are spoken apparently. in the
Oh,
old
so they're just
Republic.
trying to one up it from this.
Yeah,
So,
spending a crap ton of money on people doing voice acting for mission text.
so,
Okay, fine, but doesn't make it a good game.
so last up, it is the NES's 25th birthday this year. Some of us still have a working NES that we do not have to blow into to make it work.
I got a toaster.
It really.
Wasn't that the yeah? You stuck it in and you pushed it down. And then
Oh, I didn't know
push
you
it down
actually
again,
had
and
a
then you
name.
push it down
for
Yeah,
it.
again.
because the little locking thing doesn't
yeah,
always
because
work.
it never It took like 3 or 4 times to get it just right
Yep.
to stick in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do we have any favorite NES games? And
I had one of those 20 years ago.
well, I mean, come on, Dodgeball. I'm sure
I
that was
love Super Dodgeball was a fucking awesome game. I love
still
it.
got my
Wasn't that on the
original,
Super Nintendo?
No, I'm pretty sure it was on the NES.
I think it was just called Dodgeball, wasn't it?
Super Dodgeball.
Oh,
I still got my original Fist of the North Star game on there. And put some hours into that.
on the NES.
Yeah.
Really?
You know what I spent a lot of time with was Dr. Mario. I fucking
Oh, Dr.
ruled on that game. If you look at the game, it's got a low, a medium, and a high setting for your speed, your challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it only goes up to level 20. I played that game so much, I've made it to level 25 on high. And I don't even know how much farther it went, but I died somewhere in the middle of the 25th level. But I was rocking those pills as they came out left and right.
Rocking
man.
those pills.
Man.
Dr. Mario.
I got in the zone in that game one day, and I just, oh man.
And that was your favorite game?
Dr. Mario
Nobody
should have
could
been
beat me on
sponsored
that
by
game.
Dare.
That would have been hilarious.
No, my favorite game. Well, I mean, other than Metroid, let me just throw that out there. Blaster Master was my favorite.
That was pretty cool.
I loved
was-
Castlevania 3 on there.
That was a
one of
good
the best
game.
games.
Castlevania 3 2.
I spent a lot of time on
not so
3.
much.
Yeah, 2 I didn't like too much. I went through it, but it just wasn't as good as 3.
I loved Castlevania 2 because
It was easy.
it was really easy. I didn't have to like get a cheat book or anything to play it to
Yeah.
finish it. I felt
So,
accomplished.
so Howard Phillips and Nestor did not have to guide you through the catacombs of.
I was the first
the-
kid I knew that made it through the second quest of Zelda, though.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Were you proud of
Jeez.
yourself?
Oh yeah,
You were the coolest kid in school.
yeah. Well, everybody had a problem beating Ganon in the last level on the second quest because he was super cheap.
Yeah.
So
No, it has the exact same pattern as the last one.
yeah, but see, when you're a little kid, you don't know it's a pattern.
Oh. I
Till
must have
after
been.
you
I must have
died
been some
enough
sort of
times.
NES savant that I
Yeah.
just like. Well, wait, this guy's got a pattern.
Yeah.
the Rain Man of NES.
You have
Apparently.
to die so many times, and then you realize there's a pattern, and not just a pattern to you're dying.
Oh yeah. So and of course, any other favorite games? Akari Warriors.
I like the Atari Warriors better than the arcade because it had the rotatable joystick.
Oh yeah.
Bad dudes. That game was hilarious.
I had
Is
Bad
that
Dudes
that
on that.
Renegade?
I had Bad Dudes on that and the Commodore 64.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
You like the game that much? huh?
The the graphics were better on the Commodore 64.
Well, didn't you like Double Dragon on the NES?
No, I did not.
Really? Oh, you like the arcade one?
I like the
right?
arcade one much more.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
were-
I
you
also
were-
had a Sega Master System that had the actual Double Dragon adaptation from the arcade.
Yeah.
I think the NES version was slightly better.
Oh,
No,
good
it
old
was not.
SMS.
Really? Well, Contra was better on the NES.
Yeah, I played a lot
Contra
of
was pretty awesome. Contra 3 was really
Yeah, because
awesome.
Contra on the arcade is freaking hard.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
It's a whole different type of game when using those controllers. It was after playing it, especially if you go from the joypad to that or any kind of a
that
gamepad to the
D-pad,
arcade
oh.
setup. Oh my god.
No, you had to get the advantage. That way you could clear Rygar.
Yeah. Rygar.
I did
was
like the Ikari Warriors on the arcade was awesome because it had that 8-stick that twisted.
Yeah, there were like
directions.
3 or 4 games that used that thing.
Yeah, there was
Commando
another one
used
too
it.
that was a 4-player side-scrolling. Started with a Q. It was like Quantum something or other. It was an action game, same type of thing.
Oh, you're talking about Quartet.
Quartet, yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
Sega game.
That also used that twist controller with the 8 sides.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun because you could turn around on the screen or face all different directions.
There was like some Time Warriors, I think was the name of the game.
Sounds familiar.
It was
Yeah,
the
it was
one
like
where
that
they went through
Akari Warriors
time,
one where you went
yeah.
back in time and shot dinosaurs and things. Yeah, and it was a up scroller, a top.
Yeah,
top down.
the game I remember that used that 8-way controller thing was a game called Midnight Resistance. It's a
Huh.
real obscure arcade game.
I don't remember. I don't think I ever saw that one. What was the name of that? There was a top-down shooter, space shooter that the big claim to fame is that it said it had artificial intelligence in the enemies when really it was just scaling to how good you were.
Xanic. I'm
That
pretty
was-
sure it was Xanic.
I remember
Yeah.
because it made a big deal about its adaptive AI on the back on the back of the
Yeah,
thing.
you know what that's called? It's called rank.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, the better I do, the harder it gets.
So you don't shoot all the ships.
Yeah,
and then when
basically
you get
you
down to the
avoid
boss, you
things.
own his.
Yep, you avoid things the whole level until you get to the end.
There's a shmup on the Sega Saturn that's infamous for that type of ranking system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot more modern. Is Battle Garega,
Yep.
because that has a
That game got hard.
the
when you were
only
good.
way that you could lower the level on that game, if your rank got too high, was to do a suicide on your ship to like run into a boss to reset the rank down to a manageable level so you could actually beat the game. There are super plays of that game where people just run into the boss and then just start playing again.
The I was looking at what do they call them? The fast plays for like strange games for
You're talking
weird
about
games.
the speed assisted
Yeah,
speed
speed-
runs?
well, not yeah, I mean not so much in these games because you
I mean,
can't
tool
really do it,
assisted.
but, no, like there's speed runs for weird games like for Fallout 3. There's a speed run where you can beat the game in 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because you can skip a whole bunch of stuff in the main game,
Yeah.
in the main thing. So you can like you don't have to go to Rivet City to have to go to Vault 87. Well, you haven't done that yet, but you don't have to do it. You can just go find your dad if you know where he is, and so you skip like a good 5 hours of the game if you just go and you run through and you do that. And they have a speed run of it, and the guy can do it in 30 minutes. And there's one for not Dragonfall, for Morrowind. And the Morrowind playthrough is 14 minutes or something like that for the main one.
What?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Is this a tool assisted speed run?
Nope. It's
So-
just knowing exactly where to go to get through the main arc of the game
Really?
because you can skip stuff. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. You can do it in 14 or 15 minutes. There's a glitch that lets you get into the Citadel early. But if you do, that gets you to do it in like 14 or 15 minutes. But if you don't use that glitch to get into the Citadel early, you have to. It takes about half an hour.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's still a good time
Kennedy
for
was
Morrowind.
saying
It
that
was
he
like-
managed to, even without doing the speed run, he just did just the main quest. And if you do just the main quest, you get to level 7 by the end of the game, and you spend about 4 hours or 5 hours, and that's it. So, but there's a
Really?
bunch of those for games that you wouldn't expect there to be.
Huh.
Eh.
Yeah, I would think Morrowind would take like, half your life to.
Yeah, well, it kind of takes half your life to play normally. So,
I wonder if there's something like that for Sins of a Solar Empire. Some kid,
Oh, Jesus.
like, has a speed run of it, but it's, 8 hours long.
he has a speed run of it, but it took him most of his high school career to do it. Max map size, max planets, max enemies. Well, I got through high school and it's just about done now. It takes up about half the database on YouTube in 5-minute increments.
There's probably something like that on
Yep.
YouTube. I
Probably.
wouldn't doubt that. So, do we have anything else? Do we have anything we want to add before we wrap up our last double-digit episode?
Goal
before we get in-
13.
Yeah, but was that your
Oh,
favorite
that's what it
NES
was.
game?
I was talking to somebody about that the other day about how I'd almost bought a Silent Scope arcade game.
Oh yeah, I remember.
There's a
you
couple of
telling me
times
about
where I
that.
almost did, and a buddy of mine said, it's too bad you didn't because you can swap out the JAMA boards in there and you can play Go-Go 13 with it.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that would have been freaking awesome.
what's Golgo doing with that woman?
Yeah, that was a strangely. I mean, especially not even so much for the video game, market at the time, but with Nintendo's stated target audience and their content restrictions for those early NES games. Having Golgo 13 released was really strange for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'm also. That was kind of strange, and I'm also proud to say that I own both of them still.
Okay, the second one wasn't as good though, if I recall.
No, it was not. Kind of like the difference between Metal Gear and Snake's Revenge. So that's kind of a sort of obscure reference. But anyway,
Was
so
the second Legend of Zelda on the NES, or was that the SNES?
it was on the NES.
I spent
Adventure
a
of Link.
lot of time.
Well, I was really
playing
good at that
dumb
game because I
thing.
played a lot of Rastan in the arcade.
Yeah. Jeez.
There was a lot of places like that would have like whatever the fuck it was that you were trying to collect, like on the top of some sort of building, and I was like, fuck if I know how to get up there. I just left him.
I had Rastan on the Genesis.
Oh,
God, man.
see, I
that
don't
was-
think I don't think John, nice John, would have been able to to join us in this conversation because I think he actually was one of those Genesis people. He would have had to leave the room and close the door so he couldn't
Genesis.
hear us.
Pretty
What?
sure I had a Genesis.
Well, it did what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, I think I had a
Yeah.
Genesis.
You could play the last good Sonic game on it because
Did I?
apparently Sonic 4 is a piece of crap.
Sonic CD was really cool.
It was.
I did not have a Sonic CD. I didn't have any of the add-ons.
CD
for
system was
for
pretty
the
impressive.
Genesis.
I got that deal I got that from Mickey back at Game Force. He sold me that whole deal for like $79, where it had
Oh,
the
yeah.
Genesis, the CD, and the 32X built into that little tray thing it sat on. And
I
it came with
remember-
like 7 games, and 2 of them were rare games. I was like, holy crap, dude.
I remember when you got the 32X, and then we had to find out a way to plug it in because it was the Sega CD had its own adapter, the Genesis had its own adapter, and then the 32X had its own adapter.
That thing came with a bag for the system and stuff, and then another bag for the cable and adapter.
Yeah.
And these
yeah.
were like the big,
I was like,
thick
wow.
blocks, the big
Yeah.
AC blocks. So
I haven't plugged that in since we did that then because I can't remember how the hell we did it. I got to go find a blueprint for the damn thing and figure out what I had to plug in and
Yeah,
where,
well, the
'cause there's so
32X
many
was just
plugins on
so
the back.
the 32X was just so odd because you had to do it in a certain way, otherwise there was like some sort of metal contact in there that if you didn't have it right,
There's a
the
go-between too, where you bounce out of one in the back into the other too, and I think that might have something to do with the 32X and the Genesis.
yeah, and then there's that converter for the Master System games, and then you can put the old Sega channel adapter that no longer works in the top.
Oh, you've
of
seen
that.
those? Have you seen those
Yeah.
stack ups where they stack all the adapter things into it? And you
Yep.
get like
Yeah, the
9
Sonic and Knuckles and then the
accessories.
Sonic on top of it.
Yep.
All right. So, anything else before the eve of our 100th, on the eve of our 100th episode?
Oh yeah, we'll have a special guest next time.
Yes. We will be having the King of Prussia coming in for the podcast.
It's good.
That was the King of Norway.
Yes.
The town king, king of Russia.
No.
No, he's straight from the Voltron, the movie shoot.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, your source for figuring out what the word "on" means.
Thanks, Grover.
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.